How many? Why are you here?
Um, well, I go to Silva because I wanted to see if I wanted to be in the medical field or not. And if I didn't, then I wouldn't have to waste my time going to medical school and then finding out there. I could just find out here and then just not go to medical school later.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't have a lot of time. I would have loved to hear what all of you have to say, because it's good to know why you are doing what you're doing. Because those reasons are very important. And as we go through this presentation, you will understand the importance of having a why, having a reason to do something. Because the going gets tough. This is just the beginning. You're just getting ready for the real world. And when you have the right philosophy, the right life values, that means it will be much easier for you to navigate the real world, because you know how to live better. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It just means you'll be a lot better with the right principles and the right values than when you are not with them. So today's presentation is based on personal development. This is mostly what I do my presentations about when I go to high schools, because I think much of your success, everything that has to do with your success in life, comes from what you do. Sure, there are environmental factors, and there are political factors, and there are economical factors, but what will happen, the final bar stop, is what you do. Are you prepared enough? So that's why I added that sentence on the bottom. It says, the major key to your better future is you. And I underlined those two words, key and you, to give it some added punch. So it reads, key and you. You are the key. You hold to the key to your future. Okay. So today's presentation, it's I call it Jim Rohn's 5 major pieces to the life puzzle, because that's where I adopted it. He's an author. He's a guy that I've learned like so much stuff from, and this is one of his life philosophies that I want to share with you, and that will add my own interpretation, experience, and make it what you want today. And number one is philosophy. If you want to lead your life, if you want to guide your life, if there is anything that you want to change about your life, modify, it has to be found in these 5 major pieces to the life puzzle. Number one is philosophy. So what's the old cliche? The old cliche, ignorance is bliss. That's not true. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is misery. Ignorance is poverty of the mind and of the soul and of the wallet. What you don't know will hurt you. For example, if you don't know about gravity and you say, hey, I'm going to jump off the window, hope that I hang in the air, what's going to happen? You're going to fall right down and die. That you didn't know about it doesn't mean you're not going to get hurt. So that's why you have to seek information. That's why you have to go out, read, watch, observe. That's the way you learn, so that way you don't get hurt. And occasionally when you get hurt, you know why you got hurt. So number 2 is influence. Gosh, that's important. The school that you are in right now, like the churches you go, the societies you're part of, these are influence. These play a major role in how you act and how you behave, especially your peers. So influence is very, very major. And this is where one of the most values that you have in life comes from. Influence starts from the school you attend, the churches you grew up in, the home you grew up in. You pick up all these philosophies. So it's like this giant big canvas. And then there is daub of paint by everybody. Daub of paint from your parents, daub of paint from your teachers, a paint from the society, a paint from the churches, and all those things form a big picture of who you are. And then trying to understand what works and what doesn't work in that whole picture It's part of building your philosophy. It's part of building your values. So those influences affect the way you think, the way you act, the way you stimulate ideas. I always use this analogy of a candlestick. If you have a candlestick and you flame it at your hands, like you go quickly this way, will it burn you? No.
No.
It's like you're playing around, right? However, what if you put that candlestick, leave your hand there for 5 seconds, steady? It will burn your finger off. That's influence. You spend a lot of time with non-quality people, people that are not pushing you, you get burned. You spend a lot of time acting in a negative way, you get burned. And it's very simple. I don't want you to miss it. That's why I'm using this analogy, something you can relate with. Because this giant world philosophy sounds like it's all this giant magnificent word, but all these things are just basic. So it's important to have the right mental scale. What if your mental scale was off and you weigh stuff a little differently? You didn't understand the importance of this presentation. So it's the same with stuff over and over again. So you didn't listen, you didn't take the notes, you didn't do anything. Would that affect the way you're gonna act, the way things are gonna turn out for you? You better believe it. You better believe it. When I was in high school, I can admit to you I wasn't serious. The high school I went to it wasn't a regular high school like you guys are going right now. It was a boarding school. I lived in a school. I started when I was 10. It was 6 years. So approximately in a year, I spent 3 months at home, 9 months in school. So that was my home. So I had to learn how to adapt. And that school was a seminary school, so it's a Catholic boarding school. I lived there, and when you are there, you don't longer rely on your parents. You have to do everything on your own. You have to wake up at 5. You have to wake up at 5. Get washed up, brush your teeth, go to morning prayers. After morning prayers, you go do your work, like you sweep around and clean everywhere. After that, you go to breakfast. After that, you go to class, morning classes. After morning classes, you come back for afternoon prayers. After that, you go to afternoon meal. After afternoon meal, you go to siesta, you go sleep for 30 minutes or an hour. After that, you go for evening class. After evening class, you go to playtime or time for labor. And then after that, you go take your bath. After taking your bath, you come back for evening prayers. After evening prayers, you go to lunch, you go to dinner. After dinner, you come back for night prayers. After night prayers, you go to night class. Then after night class, that's when you go to sleep or you do it all over again. And some days we have much more activity than this. So I don't give you this is a nutshell of what we were doing. But yet I didn't take it serious. I didn't understand the importance of that. Because that's a structured life. That's a life that was guided me. But now, recollecting it, I realized the importance of that. One of the things I didn't take serious in high school was math. I didn't like math. I hated math. Right? And then, what did I do? I understood how our teacher says questions. He just plays the examples and just play around with the numbers and just set it in the test. Like, okay. I just go memorize all the examples and that's it. I go to the exam and boom, I managed to get a pass. I'm like, yeah, good. That was good enough for me. What happened? I came over here in the United States. Guess what? I placed in a class, in a college that literally teaches you how to count. 0301. That's the lowest class in college. Math class in college. They will teach you multiplications and subtractions in college. That's where I had to start. Why? Because I didn't take it serious when I should have. And that's one of many experiences that I wish I would have learned. And that's one of the reasons why I do this. want you to understand the importance of life. Life is serious. Life is no joke, except to jokers. It's not grand, it's just serious. So part of it, it's your philosophy. I didn't understand the value. I didn't understand that I was building my house on the sand. Right now is where you build your house. And you decide where you build it, on a rock or on the sand. What will happen when the storm comes? Those who have their houses on the rock will survive. The sand will go up. You know the story, right, in the Bible. Men who build his house on the rock and the other on the sand. What happened when the storm comes? The sands go with them. The rock guy was happy. And these are two nice people. These are not two. One was bad and one was good. These are two nice people. So what does it mean? Nice people, good people, honorable people can make foolish decisions and then have to live with the consequences. So it doesn't mean you're bad. Maybe you're good, but your decisions are out of whack. And that's part of building your philosophy, because life accumulates. So it either accumulates to the value you should be happy about, or it accumulates to the, errors in judgment you'll be sorry for. And at advancement of the philosophy, instead of the self, I told you earlier, the major key to a better future is you, instead of the self. So it's not the blowing of the wind. The wind blows on us all. Economic wind, social wind, it blows on us all. A skillful sailor sails through the storm. Why? He is skillful. He's built his house on the rock. He knows what he's doing. And that's how a skillful human being, that's how skillful people sail through problems, because they have a strong foundation. So these questions will keep coming up. This is a very key question. Where are my thoughts taking me? My thoughts are taking me somewhere. Big question, where? If you keep up your present lifestyle, if you keep up your present discipline, where would you be in 5 years? Boy, it's easy to say, I haven't thought of that. But where would you be? What would your thought lead you? Now is the time to start fixing those errors and judgments so that you don't get caught up with them. Because they will come. And when they come, you may not be ready for them. Here's the second pieces to the life puzzle: attitude. First is what you know, your values, your philosophy. Second is attitude, how you feel about what you know. Right? I call it the difference in attitude in the states of the mind. How come some people have this incredible zest to live well and end well, and some people have this incredible, attitude of letting everything slide? What's the difference? What's the difference between people who are successful and people who are not? What's the difference between some people who have the heart, the perseverance, the persistence to push through, while others just take the whole game as not serious and just let everything go? It's mysteries of the mind. So one of the key factors is self-motivation. Self-motivation. Gosh, if you are waiting for someone to always come and pump you up, you're not ready. What if that person doesn't show up? You would have had a better plan for your life. Sure, you should go to seminars, you should go to presentations that help you grow, but you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be like that little pesky, energizing bunny that even though no one is around, even though you don't have to impress anyone, even though you don't have to do it, even though there's no one there, there's no mommy, there's no daddy, there's no brother, there's no best friend, I will still do it. That's tough. Motivating yourself. Coaching yourself, it's tough. I'll give you that. When you live around a lot of average people, it's very tough. When everybody's talking about going to the dance recital, talking about going to party, and you're like, I'm trying to read. That's tough. And when you pull those things off a lot of time, you build yourself to be very strong, that people will start admiring you. But at first, it's tough. That's why you have to isolate yourself if you have to. Isolate yourself. You don't have to be available all the time. Make times for yourself to inspire yourself, do the things you have to do, then you can go about your reward. Because guess what? When you build the habit, it's part of who you are. But when you haven't built the values, when you haven't built those mental muscles, and you're joining everybody else, and you're drifting with everybody else, it's gonna be hard on you. So that's attitude. So attitude, part of it is how you feel about the past. Gosh, it's easy to carry the past as a burden instead of a school. So the past is something you learn from. It's not something to get depressed over. We all make mistakes. We all have made errors in judgment. We all have been through, things we gotta keep to ourselves, secrets we have. But it's better to use it as a school. Let it teach you. Gosh, I didn't know. Okay, now I know. Now how am I gonna act when this comes up next? Oh, okay, so I don't get the pain again, so I don't get the depression again. I'm gonna do this instead of this. See, now you're doing the right thing. But when you don't learn, when you let the same hammer to hit you in the head over and over again, then you remain a dummy. When you take your past, you learn from it, that means you're moving forward. So number one is how you feel about the past. Number two is how you feel about the future. So don't let your past hold your future hostage. Be optimistic about the future. Be optimistic of what you could do. It's good to play the what if game. Do you know the what if game? What if I become successful? What if I study 10 times more than other people? What if I grow? What if I come to class early? What if I do the things that I've been neglecting? What can happen when I tap into my full strength? How far can I go? What if I do this? What if I do that? What if I change my habits? What if I change my behavior? It's good to think of all those possibilities. That's the future. Third one is how you feel about each other. It's hard to succeed by yourself. It's hard to find the rich hermit. You know what a hermit is? A hermit is someone who's isolated himself, like he lives in the bush. It's like extreme religious style that it's just by himself. It's hard to find the rich hermit. Look it up when you get a chance. You can succeed by yourself. You do need other people, but you have to learn how to tap into the resources of other people. You have to learn how to equip people. This is part of it. Believing in people, believing that people are good. Sure, there's bad people out there, but believing that people can do good. Believing in the human race, believing in humanity, believing that the world can get better. It's part of it. And lastly is how you feel about yourself. Gosh, it's very important. This is the most important of them all. How you feel about yourself. Because the understanding of self-worth is the beginning of progress. When you understand your worth, when you understand what you could put out, when you understand who you are, when you understand what you can do. Because guess what? Self-doubt is the most crippling, I can't emphasize it enough. When you doubt yourself and doubt your possibilities, that's the end of you. Sure, you're gonna doubt yourself from time to time, and that's perfectly normal. You'll doubt yourself and doubt what we can do, but don't let that doubt prevent you from taking action. Because when it prevents you from taking action, that means you're going nowhere. And we're gonna go through a list that I call diseases of attitude. Diseases of attitude. These are weeds in your garden. You plant your garden in the spring, Sure enough, during the summer, during the just before the fall, the obnoxious weeds and the sun are out to take your garden. Guess what? They will take it unless you prevent it. So if you want to plant in the spring and leave in the summer, come fall, you have dry crops. So you have to stay there, build your values, and defend it. And this is how you defend it. Number one is handling the negative. Understanding that there is negative. Life is not just positive, positive, positive. That's not motivation. That's not inspiration. Inspiration is understanding that life is both positive and negative, and I'm entitled to the positive and handling the negative. The cup is half full, but it's also half empty. You have to handle that. You have to dwell on it. You have to fix your focus on it, handle it, and then be optimistic. Second is indifference. We talked about this earlier. Not caring about the way you're living, not caring about your classes, not caring about your education, not caring about your future. You think you're too young to think about your future? You better correct that. You're not too young. On the contrary, there are people who started when they were 10, 9, to start doing what they will do for the rest of their life. I'm not saying that you have to figure all of it out, but you have to engage in the thought process of what you're going to do, how you're going to live your life. But you have to build your life. You have to live with intent, not just live anyway. Because when you live anyway, you get anyway. You live with intent, you live with purpose, you get it. Number 3 is indecision. Another advice I have for you on indecision is just decide. Right now, you have a lot of things to decide on. Probably you haven't decided on a lot of them. The key advice I'm going to give you in taking decisions and being decisive, because when you are always decisive, it gives you focus, it gives you certainty, it gives you power. When you decide, I'm going to do that, period. You cut off every other thing that you're going to do and just go forward. If it's the wrong decision, you find out quicker because you are all in. But when you are not decisive, when you are like, this way, maybe that way, okay, this way, you're in the middle, you're going nowhere. You're not too warm, you're not too cold. Just pick one and go in with everything you have. You're going to find out quickly if that's the direction you're going to go to or not. It will tell you if you have a knack for it or not, if you can do it or not. So for you to be decisive, just pick one. Get enough information you can get about everything and just pick one. Don't ever leave yourself undecided. Always pick one. Pick one and go. It's hard. Again, it's hard. These are not easy stuff. These are not stuff you just practice for a week and then you are the master. No, these can take years. But the key is starting early, starting now when you are tender to build it before you grow up. Third is doubt. We talked about self-doubt. Don't doubt yourself. There is worry. This is a big one. Worry. Worrying about everything. You can't control anything. If there's anything you can control is how you act, how you feel, the things you do. That's it. You can control the price of gas. You can control the price of water. If you're worrying about all this, if you're worrying about what's out of your control, you are using your mental power, your mental energy for something that you're not even concerned with. Do what you can. Because worry gives you a one-sided picture. It shows you that the elevator runs only one way, down. The elevator goes up and down, but it shows you only down. This is worry. You have to take care of this. Third, the next one is overcautious. It's the timid approach to life. Being too cautious, not taking risk. Life is risky. Take risks. High risk, high reward. Low risk, low reward. Yes, you have to take cautions when you have to, but don't let that